Yep, anywhere you want. No, but the book's fabulous. And he's written a couple other things that I really like too. He wrote one called Artemis, which I thought was great. Yeah, it was great, and he's like, yeah, that's like really like his stuff. In fact, I like the book more than I like Project Hail Mary, only because the book it was a little bit more sciencey, right? Because right.
The book's always
Right, but sometimes they do a good job, and they did a good job of adapting it, but it's like they couldn't get as sciencey as the book was.
Yeah.
Loved how sciencey the book was. Shabbat Shalom, welcome. So glad that you're here with us. A lot of fun things happening this evening, and particularly, really, it's like a perfect storm of goodness here this evening. So why? Because anytime that shticks, by the way, which is a blend of sticks and shtick. That's how they got their name, Shticks. Anytime Shticks is here with us, that's always good news. Furthermore, as you can see, there's some young people sitting behind Shticks with white robes on, and that is because they have taken on extra responsibility to become confirmation students, and we're so delighted that they're here with us. And they're going to be participating and sharing some thoughts along the way. And you can see in the booklet, you'll see both the order of things and also their actual words, which are printed in the booklet. Now, I do want you to know that we are aware that the service might go on just a little bit longer because we got a lot of people saying a few words. So we'll try to keep it moving, but you're not going to want it to end because the music is going to be so great. And we have, by the way, Tom Weeder and Chris Cavey and Lou Berman are musicians, and our vocal musicians is Jess Weeder, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you were here for Cabaret Night, then you've heard their magic already. If you were not here, then this will just be a small taste of really what happened then. Of course, there is one other great thing that's happening this Shabbat and this weekend, which will really bring it into a perfect storm, and that is a bar mitzvah, shall we say. Nate's going to become bar mitzvah tomorrow, and so we're so delighted that he is here with us as well. But we're going to start with the singing of Lechu Naranana, and that is on page 130 in your prayer books. Lechu Naranana. So the candle lighting, we call upon Nate Adams and his brother and parents to join us up here. We're on page 120 for the blessing of the lighting of the Shabbat candles. Remember all that drama, right? Let's see what you got here. V'kideshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Gotta give you a little wine here for this pitch cup. All right, so we're on page 123 now. As we continue with Kiddush, again, 123, so you hold this. All right, we're going to do the first line together, and then I'll do the rest of it. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri ha'gafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'ma'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila l'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziyat mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, b'shabbat kodshecha, b'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh Shabbat. Actually got a little there, didn't you? Nice. All right, back to see in an hour, or maybe an hour and 10 minutes. Okay, so some of my favorites, at least one of my favorites of Kabbalat Shabbat. We're on page 137. This is Ya'aloz Sadai. Actually, it's not on page 137, despite the fact that I was certain it was. Wait. 131. 131. Yes, 131 in the second paragraph, halfway down the second paragraph. Page 138, Gabe Snyder, the old cantor here, used to say, this is the anchor of Kabbalat Shabbat. Whenever I would say, let's skip Lachado D, he'd say, you can't skip Lachado D. It's the anchor. And I would say, you're so young. So anyway, in the words of Gabe Snyder, the anchor of Kabbalat Shabbat, Lachado D, what we like to do is verse 1, 2, 5, and 9. And then when we reach the 9th verse, then I'll invite you to rise and invite you also to face the entrance to the sanctuary so we can metaphorically or symbolically greet the Sabbath bride. So this is L'chadodi again, verse 1, 2, 5, and 9. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad Ishmi anu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem tiferet v'letila la 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 L'chadodi likrat likrat kala B'nei b'nei Shabbat mikabela L'chadodi likrat likrat kala B'nei b'nei Shabbat mikabela Likrat Shabbat lechuven elcha Kihi mikor ha'beracha Mirosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila la 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 L'chadodi likrat likrat kala B'nei b'nei Shabbat mikabela L'chadodi likrat likrat kala B'nei b'nei Shabbat mikabela. Verse 5. Hidoreri, hidoreri, kiva orech umi ohori, uri, uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai Allahayich nigla la 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 L'chadodi likrat likrat kala B'nei b'nei Shabbat mikabela L'chadodi likrat likrat kala B'nei b'nei Shabbat mikabela. Please rise and face the entrance. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala L'chadodi likrat likrat kala B'nei b'nei Shabbat mikabela L'chadodi likrat likrat kala B'nei b'nei Shabbat mikabela la 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 L'chadodi likrat likrat kala B'nei b'nei Shabbat mikabela L'chadodi likrat likrat kala B'nei b'nei Shabbat mikabela. Please be seated. All right, our first confirmation speech is Riley Shenton.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm conforming my Jewish identity because I'm still learning, still questioning, and still choosing what Judaism really means to me. As I grew up, I felt like I had to choose between religion or science. I viewed science as facts and Torah as just stories of our past, which is something meaningful, but not necessarily real. I really felt like the two couldn't fit together, like I had to pick one or the other. However, after doing my own research and hearing different perspectives, I realized that they don't have to compete. My perspective started to shift. Instead of trying to force them together or choosing one over the other, I began to understand that they can both be true in their own ways, and that they don't necessarily have to agree every time. When I changed my perspective, I began to see that they can both give meaning to the big world that we live in, rather than just having to line up perfectly. This realization changed how I viewed Judaism. It showed me that religion and science don't have to compete, but they can coexist and still have meaning. But more importantly, it taught me that I'm allowed to be confused and question the way things are, and that forming my own understanding by considering others' opinions is perfectly okay. Another idea that really impacted me was the question of free will. I never really knew if we could control our own choices or if everything is already predetermined. The idea that really stood out to me was the difference between fate and destiny. Fate is the idea that everything has already been planned, from the special laughs with friends to all the little moments. But destiny is different. Destiny is the idea that we all have an ending, but we can decide how it looks, and more importantly, we can decide how we get there. I resonate with this idea because if we don't have free will, then what would be the point of having rules or commandments? To me, this means that our actions are truly our own and that they do matter. The hardest idea for me to understand has been God and its presence in my life. If I'm being honest, I still struggle with it. I do believe that there is some great being out there who is listening to all the nights that I pray, but in these last few years, I have been coming back to the same questions. If God created us, then who created God? And is God actually real, or did humans just create it because we needed something to believe in and rely on? I have found that both of these ideas can exist at the same time. Yes, God could have created us, and we could have created the idea of God to break down this all-powerful being into something that humans could understand, something that can guide, comfort, and connect us. Instead of having a perfect answer, I have come to the realization that it's okay to not have a complete answer. It has taught me that there is perfection in the uncertainty. As I have come to understand that, I have really incorporated that into my faith. In between all of these ideas, balancing science, wondering if we have free will, and questioning the reality of God, they all have something in common. They have shown me that being Jewish doesn't mean having all of the answers all at once. It's about asking questions, seeing things in new ways, learning, changing, and growing alongside all of it. I'm conforming my Jewish identity because I'm choosing to keep growing.
Wait. I should have told you, don't applaud in the sanctuary. Everybody knows that. Not one time have I received a round of applause. Obviously, you're not supposed to do it. No, of course, it's just, you get the point. You can applaud afterwards. I mean, at the end of the service at the Oneg Shabbat, but just try to hold it back during this time. But now is a perfect time for me just to share with you that that these 6 students, they kind of just took it upon themselves to do more. At the about 4 months ago or so, we floated the idea out to anybody of the age somewhere between 10th and 12th grade. We said, look, would you like to be confirmed? And if the answer is yes, then here's what we need you to do. And we provided them with a website, and this website has Jewish videos on such an enormous variety of subjects, and said, watch videos, whichever ones you want to, and then write reflections about them. And so after each video, the students would send back reflections on what they watched. And then at the conclusion, after watching 3, then we said, now put them together, kind of bring them all together and make something cohesive out of it, and entitle it, Why I'm Being Confirmed. And so that's the essence of what's happening here. You're watching kids who chose to actively do something Jewish, even though there wasn't a specific program, and to make the decision to kind of bring together their Jewish experience here at the synagogue by having a moment marked here so we can kind of acknowledge it. So that's the background behind this. All 6 of these students just chose to go above and beyond what's asked of them. And so that's the background. We are going to continue with the Baruch Hu. It's on page 146, and we invite you to please rise.
Are you listening to my prayer?
right, remain standing, please. We're now on page 152 as we continue with Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. Next page, 154. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם המזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. All right, our next confirmand who will be reading a speech is Ian Hedgecock.
Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ian Hedgecock. I'm 18 years old and a senior in high school at the Key School, just in Annapolis, Maryland. I'm getting confirmed to learn more about my Jewish identity, and as well as bring the principles of Judaism into my life and continue to use them to make an impact on myself as well as my community. Throughout the confirmation process, I've learned a lot about people who have successfully used Jewish principles to guide their lives and the lives of the people around them. Today, I would like to tell you about them and how I plan to use those principles to impact my life as well. The first person I researched was Napoleon Bonaparte, the former French king. His impact his impact that he had on Jewish history. The rules and laws he implemented hundreds of years ago still impact the Jewish community today as part of the foundation of what it means to be Jewish in America. Before the French Revolution, Jews were forced just to be Jewish. They could not take on any other identity trait, such as being French. Napoleon Bonaparte wanted a unified France, so in order to do that, he promoted being able to have multiple identities, such as being able to be French as well as Jewish, or in my case, Jewish as well as American. This intertwinement between Jewish religion and secular society is something that exists today. This intertwinement exists now more than ever in politics with the state of Israel and its secular obligation to people of all religions, while also still being the homeland of the Jews. This highlights the complex geopolitics in Israel, which can be traced back to Napoleon Bonaparte and the French Revolution. The second person I researched was Senator Joe Lieberman. Throughout his duration in Congress, he held Jewish values close. His representation of these values made him a more successful congressman while still allowing him to balance his work and his family. I think that embodying even the slightest bit of Senator Lieberman's values will make me a more successful person every day. Using Jewish values in my life is something that I already do and hope to continue doing and become an even better person in the process. I find myself engaging in productive debate to learn more about others' positions in politics as well as any other topic and gain a better overall knowledge about the world around me. I strive to implement the value of tikkun olam, which is the Hebrew expression meaning repairing of the world. I plan to use this to drive me to help others to do my part to make the world a better place. Whether the small things like helping friends and teachers with technology or standing up for myself and others, implementing tikkun olam into my life and as well as the lives of others will make the world a better place for all. The final person I learned about was Rabbi Yochai Prince. He is one of the most famous rabbis of the 20th century. He was deeply ingrained in the American civil rights movement, even speaking before Martin Luther delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech on Capitol Hill. His final message was to find where we align rather than where we collide. We should find the places where we agree with each other and use them to unify to make the world a better place rather than find where we collide with each other and fight because of our differences. I plan to use these ideas to advocate for others in the Jewish community and beyond. I plan to embody these ideals that Rabbi Prince stood for, especially when he said, "We are all each other's neighbors, and the greatest issue we face is not hate, but the majority who stays silent in the face of it." I plan to take these lessons and ideas that these historical figures have shared with the world and implement them into my life. From strengthening the Jewish community around me to bringing these values into my life in college, I hope to embody these values and to do my part to make myself a better person and make the world a better place. In the words of activist Jane Goodall, what you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
All right, so our service continues with Micha Mocha on page 158.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Mika mocha v'anim Adonai, Mika Adonai, Ne'yar b'kodesh, Nora tehilo, Nora seifele, Nora tehilo, seifele. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai?
Micha Mocha,
Who is like you,
Micha Mocha,
Adonai?
Nora tehilo,
Who is like you,
Nora tehilo, Awesome. That special prayer for Shabbat is called Vishamru. It's on page 162. Please join us if you know it.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל
See, I realized, by the way, that that was the first time that I actually sang that song in which I took the kind of lead on it, and I realized I wasn't fully prepared.
We made it work.
We have a little one rehearsal next time. We're on page 164 as we continue with the tefillah, beginning with Adonai Sifatai Tiftach. That's on 164. Then we're going to go to 166, 168, and 170 in rapid succession. But let's start on 164. Would everyone please rise? Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sfatai Tiftach. Na 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 Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah Elohei Rachel Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaNorah El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Ahavot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem L'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah. 168. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechayeh Kol Atarav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechakel Chayim Bechesed Mechayeh Hakol Berachamim Rabim Tzomech Noflim V'Rofer Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memid Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atalach hayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol. 170. Atah kadosh V'shimcha kadosh Ukdoshim b'chol yom yalelucha Selah. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Our next confirmand to share reading and thoughts is Sophia Travers.
Hi. I'm confirming my Jewish identity because I've come to understand that being Jewish is not just about one place, one idea, or one stereotype. It is something that's shaped by history, culture, and personal meaning. Over the past few months, I've realized that Jewish identity has always been evolving, and that it is stronger because of that. Learning about different aspects of Jewish life has helped me see how identity can be both shared and personal at the same time. One of the most meaningful things I've learned is how Jewish identity can show up in places people connect with personally, like sports. As someone who plays tennis, this stood out to me even more because I understand the discipline and pressure that comes with it. Learning about athletes like Ali Raisman and Mark Spitz helped me see how my Jewish identity can be a source of strength, but it meant even more when I connected that to the idea of tennis. For example, Diego Schwartzman has competed at a high level while proudly embracing his Jewish background, showing that identity and success can go together. As a tennis player, I know how much focus and commitment that sport takes. So it made me realize even more how athletes balance that with their traditions and beliefs. This showed me that Jewish identity is not something that holds people back. It can actually motivate people to work harder and stay dedicated. Another idea that impacted me is understanding how important the idea of a Jewish homeland has been throughout history. I used to think that it started and ended with Israel, but I've learned that there were multiple attempts in different parts of the world to create a Jewish state. This showed me how deeply rooted the desire for a homeland is in Jewish history. It also made me appreciate how unique Israel is because it is the one place where that vision truly became a reality. Knowing this helped me connect to my Jewish identity. Overall, these past few months have helped me see that being Jewish is about more than just religion. It is about history, culture, resilience, and pride. Jewish identity can look different for different people, but it is always rooted in a strong sense of connection and meaning. Whether it is the strength shown by athletes, the long journey to create a homeland, or the diversity within a country, all these examples show how powerful and flexible Jewish identity can be. I am confirming my Jewish identity because I now understand it as something that is constantly growing and adapting while staying connected to its roots. It is a part of who I am and that I can carry with me in different ways throughout life. Through everything I've learned, I feel a stronger sense of pride and connection and see my identity as something I want to continue growing into the future.
Nice job. Thanks. Good job. And Kylie Hedgepot now.
Hi, I'm confirming my Jewish identity because I'm interested in the contributions that the Jewish community has made to the world. Jewish history is full of many impactful figures that have been highlighted, but many women who have made prominent contributions have stayed unrecognized. I researched Jewish women who were trailblazers and have helped shape Jewish history. Seeing the impacts of these women have made me realize that Jewish history is not only shaped by famous figures, but by the people whose actions change their communities in lasting ways. Their stories showed me that women have always played an important role in Jewish life, even when their contributions were overlooked or forgotten. Learning their stories made me connect with my Jewish roots and the way it has been shaped by people who were willing to challenge expectations to create change. From pieces of our history like Queen Esther to prominent women today such as Golda Meir, Jewish women were trailblazers who have challenged norms and used their voices to impact others. Their stories showed me that women in Jewish history have consistently helped shape the future, even when their work was not always fully recognized. Learning about their lives showed me that Jewish women often pushed against social expectations in order to advocate for their beliefs. It made me realize that history is often shaped by people who are willing to break tradition when tradition limits justice or opportunity. By defying the gender norms in their communities, Jewish women have helped shape their country in powerful ways. Devorah Drechler and Alice Miller fought for gender equality in the IDF so women like Miriam Shachor could be female fighters in the Palmach. Seeing the impacts these women have had helped me understand how the contributions of women in the past continue to shape the IDF today. These voices led to real equality and challenged the gender barriers in the military. These women were trailblazers who had huge influence on women's rights and were not afraid to rise into roles where they could create the greatest impact. These unsung heroes have been scattered throughout history, including the Holocaust. Elsa Holzer and a group of non-Jewish women staged the only open protest against the Holocaust in German history. These women protested the arrest of their Jewish husbands and children after the Goebbels ordered them taken to Auschwitz. Seeing the bravery of these women during the Holocaust proved that resistance often came from ordinary people who chose to stand up. These women became upstanders by risking their own safety to protect others and resist injustice. Learning about their actions made me realize that progress is often driven by people willing to challenge fear and do what is right even when the consequences are severe. I thought it was especially powerful that these women acted out of compassion and empathy, but their choices still made a lasting difference on people's lives. Their story showed me that the courage to stand up for what is right shapes history, even when it begins with one person's decision to speak out. I thought it was especially interesting that these women came from different periods and fields, yet each one of them left an important legacy that has shaped Jewish history in lasting ways. Their stories matter today because women like Bella Alsberg and Yafit Tamar Yushalayim show Jewish women continue to lead, challenge expectations, and influence public life in powerful ways. Bella Alsberg fought for equality and justice in politics, while Yafit Tamar Yushalayim represents the continued presence of women in leadership within the IDF and shaping how authority and responsibilities are understood today. Their examples connect to modern events because they remind us that women are still pushing for fairness, representation, and change in spaces where their voices have not always been fully heard. Learning about them made me realize that Jewish history is not only about the past, but also about the people today who continue to carry those values forward. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
We're on page 178. This is Shalom Rav, our evening prayer for peace. Shalom Rav, Am Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Am Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Am Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Am Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et zalcha Yisrael, b'chol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Am Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Am Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. We pause now for a moment of silence. more speeches. The next one is Grady Dixty, and he is, yeah, you can find his on page 6.
Understanding my heritage. I'd like to start today by explaining the journey of the confirmation process. Rabbi Goldstein had asked our class to research topics we felt passionate about and how to identify and how to impact and how they impact and affect our Jewish lives. I selected 3 main topics that I found very interesting: the Iran-Israel conflict, the Mossad, and Pesach. Throughout this journey, I have come to understand the true meaning behind the idea of confirmation. I believe the goal is to understand who I am and my place in Judaism, and to continue my education and engagement as I get older. I first began this journey learning about a topic which is fairly recent, the Iran-Israel conflict, and why there is so much hate between the two countries. The main issues that were brought up were religion, how the people are governed, and their social beliefs. These differences have significantly contributed to anti-Semitism towards Jews. There is a difference between criticizing a government and hating a group of people for who they are. Yet today, our current polarized environment has led to much hate in this world. I feel that rising anti-Semitism is the most pressing issue faced in the Jewish community. Every part of the video that I watched regarding the Iran-Israeli conflict highlighted a disagreement over multiple issues, mainly between Israel and the Iranian governments. What was made very clear is that Iranian people have no sympathy or positive feelings towards Jewish people in any way. This video helped me better understand the importance of educating people who don't understand the principles of disagreements in the Middle East and anti-Semitism. We need to be proud to be Jews, and we need to educate others on the principles of Judaism. The second topic I researched, the Mossad. The Mossad made me feel almost like a spy. The Mossad is the Israeli intelligence agency who works to keep Israel safe behind the scenes. When learning about the Mossad, I found the techniques they use to approach solving issues very interesting. For example, one method of killing a terrorist was simply replacing his toothpaste with poison that slowly killed him over time. While this isn't flashy, it is so unique and cool to learn about. I find it reassuring that the Mossad is a secret agency dedicated to helping keep Israel safe from attacks on our nation. The goal of Mossad is to work extremely hard around the clock to help protect Israel and I find the way they do it extremely impressive. I'm amazed with their work, and I'm excited to learn about the Mossad. My final topic that I did research on was the background of Pesach, otherwise known as Pesach. Now, we all know the story of how Moses parted the Sea of Reeds and led the Israelites out of Egypt. But what we never look at is how our ancestors, even in their toughest times, made life work when they easily could have given up. As I brought up before, we as Jews need to advocate peacefully for our people and not give up in what we believe in. We as people need to be more like our ancestors and fight for what's right. On Passover, we do not eat specific foods to symbolize the struggles our ancestors endured. I think we as Jewish people need to do a better job of telling our Jewish story. I believe that we are a special people and one to be proud of. The research I did for this specific topic also helped me understand the true meaning of Pesach and its significance to the Jewish community. To conclude my confirmation process, I feel that throughout this whole process, I have learned a lot about Judaism and how it can affect me in my daily life. As I grow older, I look to keep learning more about Judaism, and I am very excited to continue my Jewish education and teach others people about Judaism. Thank you for coming, and Shabbat Shalom.
And our final talk is Sam Kurzban.
Shabbat Shalom. First, before we get started, I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up. This is a lot more people than I expected that would come. I also want to thank my friends for their amazing speeches. And I'd like to give a shout out to Ian Hedgecoff and Jeffrey Mullen for being great doubles partners. I like to call us the unofficial Jew crew of Key School tennis. there is no Zionism except the rescue of Jews. Golda Meir was the definition of a progressive Zionist. Her humanitarian efforts extended not only to Israel, but throughout the world, especially in underdeveloped countries, as she established Israel's Labor Party, championed national health care, and aided over 230,000 farmers and technical experts in over 140 developing countries. Through everything, her dedication to Israel never wavered. She fought to preserve peace around the borders. When sharing her thoughts about the Arab-Israeli conflict, she stated, "Peace will come when the Arabs love their children more than they hate us." Tonight's discussion isn't just about what Judaism means to me. It's to harp on the necessity of Zionism in preserving our homeland and to talk about how we can defend it. Firstly, it is important to define Zionism. In its simplest historical terminology, it is the right for Jewish people to self-determinate in the land of Israel. Now, if you know me, for the longest time, I actually disagreed with that statement, as I believed Zionism is simply that Jewish people have the right to self-determinate anywhere, period. Yet, I believe that Jewish people don't need a land specifically within the borders of Israel, only a land anywhere in the world where we can feel safe from our neighbors. Yet, that is not how I feel today. I realized that anywhere essentially boils down to one place after actual consideration: the land of Israel. It is simply impossible for Jewish people to establish themselves in any other land. This is evident when looking at recent history, as Jewish integration in Europe led to the most atrocious genocide in human history, the Holocaust. Without an established self-governed nation, Jewish people have faced unprecedented threats throughout time, with nowhere to run. Now, one may ask, what does this have to do with the specific land of Israel being the only place for Jewish people to achieve self-determination? Well, a quick look around our globe would tell anyone that there is nowhere else for Jewish people to go. Since 1948, Israel has fostered a home of peace and security. Uprooting that would destroy millions of lives, not just because of relocation, but because there is no other land for us to settle in. Europeans have already established their resentment for Jewish people during the Holocaust, and currently, as anti-Semitism has remained a constant there since its inception. So I firmly believe, simply because there's no other scenario possible, that Jewish people have the right to self-determinate in the land of Israel. I would like to clarify a point I've made previously on the threat of relocation. Often I hear from anti-Zionists that Palestinians were the ones originally uprooted from their homeland and forced into the small borders of the West Bank and Gaza. And every time I hear that argument, I feel sad at the misdeed our world has done in portraying reality. While disheartening to see how the Palestinian people have lost their homes, it is essential to realize that the outcome does not align with the values of Zionism. In 1942, a two-state solution was drafted by the United Nations Special Committee on Palestine. Instead of accepting the partition, Palestinians, along with other Arab nations, resisted and attempted to reclaim their previous territory. After failing, Israel won land from Palestine as a spoil of war. Yet, they decided to give back the land won to the Palestinians, and the Palestinians refused. They chose not to recognize Israel as a country and reject any possible peace agreement. As a result, it became the sole goal of the anti-Zionist movement in the Arab world to kill every Jewish individual in the land of Israel. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. The chant heard ringing around so many college campuses in America can be decoded to mean that from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, there will be an ethnic cleansing of all Jewish people in the area. essentially the annihilation of our race. Palestinians continue this mindset into modern day, constantly attacking Israel and gradually losing more and more land as a result of defeat. As the tension continued to escalate, Israeli security imploded on the single darkest day in Jewish history, October 7th, 2023. I will say this plain and simple. Israel has not committed a genocide in Gaza. Hamas has. This militant group has used their own people as human shields, murdered thousands of Jews, and taken 251 Israeli hostages ranging from the ages of 9 months to 86 years old. There should be no question about which side is evil. Yet anti-Zionists call for the end of Israel. While Israel's offensives have been strong, they are simply acting in response to or against Hamas. And sadly, an estimated 50,000 Gazan civilians and 20,000 Hamas operatives have been killed by Israel and Hamas. Every anti-Zionist argument I've heard fails to mention Hamas and solely blames Israel for those deaths. But the reality is we will never know, because media in Gaza is restricted to only Palestinians. And if any citizen were to speak on the reality of Hamas's cruelty, they would be executed. October 7th has reset the world's view on Judaism. Anti-Semitism has grown exponentially, not just in speech, but in hate crimes as well. In the previous 5 years, before October 7th, there were 7 synagogues attacked in the US. Since then, that number has doubled in its rate, with 8 attacks occurring in the last 2.5 years. All this begs the question, what can we do? In all honesty, I am scared of what is to come for our future as Jews in the world. But I will do everything in my power to contribute to our people's safety. Something I've always considered important was the connection between Black and Jewish struggles for safety. I found an interesting source called the Maryland Hate Bias Report, specifically the 2024 edition. What I found was that the 2 groups who experienced the most hate were African Americans and Jews, respectively. Black hate accounted for approximately 37%, and Jews were over a quarter at 28.5% in the state's biased hate. In terms of population, there are around 2 million Black people in Maryland, making up 30% of the state's population, and there are only around 250,000 Jewish people, making up less than 10% of the state's total population. The numbers are not all proportionate, and I want to clarify, there's still so much hate that goes on in our world today, and regardless of what the numbers tell you, it's a constant struggle for all of us. And I want to make that message clear. Regardless of who is the most hate, every identity has been attacked in recent years. I just found this out today, that the Supreme Court ruled that Black people can no longer vote in the state of Oklahoma. That's ridiculous. That is actually ridiculous. And anyway, sorry, I'm getting a little off topic. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so that does not take away from the fact that Black people and Jewish stories are connected. America was established to systematically suppress African Americans, yet they fought through oppression, ending slavery, integrating into a fair society, and gaining equal rights. So much progress has been made in the movement, yet hate still occurs. As civil rights activist Stokely Carmichael stated, "We maintain the use of the words Black Power. Let them address themselves to that. We are not going to wait for white people to sanction Black Power. We're tired of waiting. Every time Black people try to move in this country, they're forced to defend their position beforehand. It is time that white people do that." His message is clear. Black people were not the ones who had to change. It was white people who had to accept them. Move or be moved. The similarities between Black Power and Zionism are uncanny. It is not on us Jews to change our ways or our values to assimilate into any other culture. Just as black people have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in America, Jews have the right to self-determinate in the land of Israel. We will stay strong in our connection and be the ones who accept those who don't accept us. As Golda Meir proclaimed, peace will come when the Arabs love their children more than they hate us. If there was ever a possibility for peace, it must come from mutual respect between Israelis and Arabs. I hope to be able to travel to Israel and Gaza someday. In fact, I hope Gaza can grow and expand its tight borders to allow its people into Israel and allow them more breathing room. Yet, that dream is only possible if we all learn to accept each other for our differences and identities, and foster not hate, but love. Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Very powerful words by all of our students, and if you want to listen to them again, as all of our services are being streamed, and so you could get a chance to watch it again. I should say, I am not questioning what was said here, but since it wasn't in the document, I'm not positive I heard that black people are not allowed to vote in Oklahoma, but if that's true, it's horrible, but I have not heard that, and I'm just taking one step back from that as an official claim of Temple Beth Shalom. If it's true, it's horrifying, but I think we would have heard a little bit more about that. So,
I heard that from my parents.
their parents are the source of fake news, okay? But the bigger point is that still, in addition to anti-Semitism on the tremendous rise, we still have a scourge of racism in our nation as well, and so that is undeniable. Both are undeniable, and so regardless of how it's being manifested, the bigger point is certainly correctly made, and so thank you very much. Now, what I'd like to do is invite all of our students in just 1 second, not quite yet, to join me at the Ark for a blessing. I gave the parents of the confirmation students a prayer to read, and so in just a moment, it's going to be your opportunity to read that prayer. I didn't bring a copy for myself, but that's okay. I trust that you guys can, thank you. I'll take yours and you can share with, thank you, Andrea, I appreciate it. So we're going to continue at this time. I'm going to ask, since we're going to go before the Ark, I'd like to invite everyone to rise. And parents, get the prayer ready, but not quite yet. And students, if you don't mind, come and join me here. Come around. So parents, now is your time. If you don't mind, I'll lead you, and then maybe you can join in, and then I'll tail off a little bit afterwards. So please, parents, a blessing for your confirmation students. O God of all creation, you have blessed us with the precious and sacred gift of children. We have the privilege to care, to nurture, to guide, to instruct, and to love them. A moment like this signals that our children are not our possessions. Swiftly they grow up and seek their own independent ways. May we find the wisdom to release our children gracefully, letting them live their own lives and not the ones we wish for ourselves. May we see today's missteps in the perspective of the long road that lies ahead for them, and raise our voices more in happiness of what they are than in vexation at what they are not. Our most cherished hope is that you, our children, confidently emerge, bringing pride and integrity to your world, the Jewish people, your family, and yourself. Thank you. And to our confirmation students, Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, which means may God bless you and may God keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha, which means may the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha V'yaseh lecha shalom, may a sense of God's presence always surround you and bless you with peace. And if you would please join me in our blessing of Shehafianu, thanking God for giving us life and for sustaining us and for enabling us to reach this day. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'kikianu hazman hazeh. We can remain standing as we continue with Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon l'kol l'tekel l'yotzer b'reshit shelo asanu kiboyei haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo samchachenu kahem v'gor aleinu k'chol amonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtahavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar hayam Adonai lemelech kol haaretz hayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo Please be seated. Some of these students I see often, some of them not quite as often, but what a joy it has been to be a part of this with them here. I think that in our world today, as we see so much division, and we also see so many people with heads down, faces in telephones, and not having convictions, and not having thoughts, and not having feelings, to listen to 6 people share thoughts that were important to them, ones that they wanted to share with you, ones that they wanted to communicate to themselves as confirmation of who they are and what they stand for. So, and certainly, thoughts that you have now will change 6 months from now. But one thing is for sure, what all of these statements communicate is a seriousness and a care and a love for our people and our tradition. And if that is all that comes out, that would be plenty. As we say, for those who like Pesach, Dayenu. That would be Dayenu. In any event, we also, as you know, have a tradition in our congregation that we bring to mind our loved ones who have been called to their eternal rest. Some who have passed away recently, or one person who's passed away recently, and others who have passed away over the years on this Sabbath. We call this their yahrzeit. And so I will be sharing these names. If you hear your loved one's name mentioned, I invite you to rise so we can see you in your moment of thinking about and reflecting on your loved one who is no longer with you. At the conclusion of all the names that are read, I will invite anyone who wishes to rise to do so. But first, let's give our mourners a chance to rise. So first, one person who has passed away quite recently, and that is Terrell Jensen, brother-in-law of Mary Ann Fry. And now we remember these loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. Saul Bettman, Saul Rome, Sam Sorkin, along with Stephen Weintraub, Sandra Ray Miller, Herbert Phillips, Morris Stern, Susan Isman, Abraham Greenberg, Robert Kushner, Mary Saban, Donna Silverman, Rabbi Isaac Yerushalmi, Lillian Zerwitz, Mosette Morrison, Nelson Zagowski, Elizabeth Dominichesi, Sidney Kellerman, Lawrence Peck, Rose Eckstein, Cecile Grodner, Fred Ilo, Richard Becker, Edward Berkovitz, Charlotte Glissenstein, Reva Kelly, Charlotte Sechel, Bernard Yanowitz, Larry Stander, and Faye Wagner. And so, in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with all of our loved ones who have passed away, I invite now anyone who wishes to rise in solidarity, or because it's your tradition, or you are saying Kaddish for someone who does not have another to say Kaddish for them. If you'd like to follow along, we're on page 598 in your Siddur. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechal beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach li'alam u'lamei amayah, Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei nikudsha b'reichu, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiram b'yalma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Osei shalom imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. And let us say, amen. Please be seated. Okay. I know it's been somewhat of a little bit of a longer night, but we're almost finished. But let me share with you, if I find, here, handful of announcements and some thank yous along the way. First of all, announcements. So tomorrow, Nate's bar mitzvah, 10 o'clock in the morning. You getting patted on the shoulders like you need that. I was there for his rehearsal. I am thinking about not even showing up for the bar mitzvah. He is that good and that well prepared. So that's going to be a real fun one tomorrow. But if you want to watch and see that I'm right, you can watch on stream or come in person. Now, Sunday morning, the Bloodmobile will be here, and total mitzvah and a worthy value to give blood and to donate blood. If you did sign up, please don't forget to show up. We've had no shows in the past, people who have signed up and then gotten cold blood feet. You know what I'm saying? Right, so show up if you sign up. But also on Sunday, which is the last day of religious school, is our annual meeting. It starts with a breakfast, although I'm sorry to say, if you wanted to come to the breakfast but have not RSVP'd yet, I have a note here that says RSVPing is closed. The breakfast is now closed. So if you signed up, can't wait to see you. If you didn't sign up, bring BYOB, bring your own bagel. But then the annual meeting follows. So the breakfast is at 9:15. The annual meeting, I think, is at 10. And it's an opportunity just to kind of see what's going, state of the congregation, to vote on the new board members, and just to be able to ask any questions you might have. It's not just something that we invite you to come to, but we encourage you to come to. This week, my two classes, weekly classes that I teach, Monday morning Torah study, Tuesday evening Sages study, neither of those classes will be happening this week, but they will be up the following week. Sisterhood Book Club, May 12th. They are reading Good Grief, it's called. If you'd like to join, please feel free to come on May 12th at 12 o'clock at noon at the Temple Library. If any questions, feel free to speak with Mary Ann Fry, who's right over here. This one looks good. May 12th is a preschool fundraiser. The Meisenberg Early Childhood Program is doing Rita's Italian Ice preschool fundraiser. So, question is, everyone's welcome. No need to mention TBS or show a flyer, but the problem is it doesn't say which Rita's, but I'm guessing it's the one in Cape St. Clair, is my guess. So you don't need to even say anything. They're just going to give 15% of all sales between 3 and 8 p.m. to our preschool. Just make sure you go to the correct one, and I'm pretty sure that's the one in Cape St. Clair. Okay, so thank you so much to Brett Morrison and Colleen Sandler for serving as ushers this evening. Thank you so much to Sarit Brosh and Cindy Heslin, Betty and Don Morgenstern for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat. Thank you so much to Shticks. You guys have such a great Shticks going on here these days. Tom and Chris and Lou and Jess, extraordinary, and it really brings everything to life. Of course, thank you so much to the confirmation students who did such a great job of sharing who they are and what they believe in. And so we're going to conclude with two things. The first thing we're going to conclude with is Motzi, and then a closing song, which is Adon Olam, and that's on page 625. So for Motzi, I'd like to invite Nate to come on back up here with brother and parents to lead us in this blessing. Okay, we were just trying to figure out what he was intolerant of. Join us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. So you take honey, share that even bigger. So, like I was thinking, it's big honey. But then just left that one. I think this was good for you. And then you can share that with that. Okay. In the year of bar mitzvah, you can pick as much challah as you want. Adon Olam is on 600. You guys go back to sheet. Adon Olam is on 625. Adon Olam, Adon Asher Malach, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, B'chefzo Kol, Azahai Melech Shmo Nikra, Ve'acharei Kiflot HaKol, Levadu, Imloch Nora, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Hoveh, Ve'hu Yeh Metiva. malach, asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra. Le'ed nasa b'chefso kol b'chefso, azai melech shmo nikra. B'yado af kibruchi, be'et isha, ve'agira, ve'ibruchi geviati. Adonai li velo ira. Adonolam, asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra. Le'ed nasa b'chefso kol b'chefso, azahi melech shmo nikra. Azahi melech shmo nikra. Azahi melech shmo nikra. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Lobby for an Oneg Shabbat. Join us for an Oneg Shabbat. Mazel tov to our confirmation students. You guys can get up. Nice job.